Yes, very good afternoon, children. Today we are going to see in this video another example where you call it as jar of marbles, where you have a jar with two kinds of marbles, black and white. You are asked to play a game in this. Okay? Randomly select two marbles. When you randomly select two marbles, you will come across the same color or you will have another different colors. When you have a same color, you put back one black marble. You put back what? Black marble. When you have two different colors, you put back your white marble. So this is the constraint. Now our question is, once you know how many number of marbles are there, can you guess what will be the last color of my marble? That is my question. So I'll divide this thing into two parts. One will be the general explanation, and the other one will be with your example how it comes back to one and how to find out the color. First, you go with the general explanation. Is it clear? Now I have a black ball. Clear? I have black and white balls. Assume my black is 2, or in general, assume my black is 2 and my white is 2. Okay. Each cases separately. There is no continuity between each cases. Continuity between each cases, and finally which color will land up, I'll give the explanation later. Now, individually speaking, when I draw two blacks, when I'm drawing two blacks, this is my first case. When I draw two blacks, what is the constraint? Take the two balls out. Take the two. Okay, and put back one black. Put back one black ball. That means what happens? You're taking off two blacks. What is it? You're taking off two blacks. So my B becomes 0 and W remains 2. And then I'm going to put back one black, means my B will become 1 and W is equal to 2. So what you come to a conclusion, my B has reduced to B minus 1 and my W has remained as W. So my B plus W is equal to B minus 1 plus W, which is equal to BW minus 1. You understand? This is for my first case. Assuming it for my second case, W, W, W. For my second case, what you do, as usual, you take off the balls and marbles and you put back one black. Now, when you're taking off two, B remains as 2, my W becomes 0. And then what happens? You're putting back one black. You have taken out two whites. Clear? So this will become pink. And you have taken the two blacks out. Clear? Two whites out. So your W is equal to 0. Now my B will become 3. My W is equal to 0. So what is the difference now? How did you get your 3? By B is equal to B plus 1. How did you get your W as 0? By W minus 2. That is 2 minus 2 0, and this 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. Start value of B is what? 2. Start value of W is what? 2. So 2 plus 1 gives me 3. 2 minus 2 gives my answer as well. So we come to the conclusion, my B is equal to B plus 1 and W is equal to W minus 2 in this case. In this case, B is equal to B minus 1 and W remains the same. Can you understand? W remains the same. My B becomes 2 minus 1, 1 in this case. But once again, when you substitute, you get my B plus W minus 1. When you add B plus 2, you get the same answer. This is a one case. See the third case. The third case goes with B and W. You start with B is equal to 2 and W is equal to 2. Okay? In this case, what happens? You are taking off one black and you are taking off one white. So it becomes B is equal to 1. And then you put back white. You put back white. When you put back white, what happens? This is 1. My W becomes 2. 1 plus 1, 2. Can you understand? So now what happened? What's the difference between this? This is B minus 1. This is W remains the same, 2 is remains as 2, but whereas 2 has become 1, so B minus 1. So what is my B plus W once again over here? B minus 1 plus W, which is equal to B plus W minus 1. So in all the three cases, when I add finally my B plus W minus 1 or my B plus W is equal to 1, we will get at least one ball remaining. This is our general explanation. This is the conclusion for all the three cases. Now, coming back to the explanation for, they say that B plus W is B plus W is equal to 1 means if W is equal to 0 means my B must be equal to 1. If my W is equal to 1 means my B should be equal to 0. That means if W count is even means I will be left with my black marble. I'll be left with my black marble. Left if my W is odd means I will be left with my white marble. This is the conclusion, that this is the answer. How will you prove this? How will we prove? Earlier, how did we get B plus W is equal to 1? I showed you the earlier explanation. Now, our question, final question is, what will be the last ball left out, whether it's white or black? We say that if my W count is even, irrespective of the number of marks, if my W is even means I'll be left with a black marble. If my W is odd means I'll be left with a white marble. Now we'll see the continued explanation. I'll start with, I hope I am trying to explain to my level best children. Please repeat the video and see it again and again. We are going to start with B is equal to 2 and we are going to start with W is equal to 2. Okay. What is the first case? Assume I'm going to take off 2 black. I'm going to start with 2 black. I explained this separately, but here we are going to go with a continuous. First time I'm going to take off 2 blacks. So what will happen? So B will become 0. My W remains 2 and I will put back 1. So my B will be equal to 1 and my W is equal to 2. So totally there are 3 balls now. Now, there is a possibility of either taking 1 black and 1 white. There is no possibility of taking 2 B. It's a continuity means I cannot take 2 black because I have only 1 black at the end of this. Yeah. So I cannot take 2 blacks. Either I can take 2 whites or I can take 1 black and 1 white. Any of the conditions. So assuming I'm going to take off 2 white. Assuming I'm going to take off 2 whites. So in that case, what happens? My B will be equal to 1. My W will be equal to 0 and I'll put back my black and I put back 1 black. So what will happen? My B will become 2. My W is equal to 0. My W is equal to 0. In this case, okay. So my final state of at the end of this, first I have 4 balls. In this stage I'm having 3 balls. In this case I'm having 2 balls now. Clear. Now finally, what is the left out there? I don't have white balls at all. I have only black balls there. And since the count is 2, I'm going to take off 2 blacks. There's no possibility of white. So I'll take off 2 blacks. If I take off 2 blacks, what will be my answer? B is equal to 0 and my W is equal to 0. Now what will happen? I'm going to replace it with the black. B is equal to 1 and W is equal to 0. So what is my last color left out, children, over here? My last color left out is the black. One black ball is left out since my W is even. One W is even, my black ball is left out. Can you understand this? This is when my W is even. So 2 balls you started with. Assuming I'm taking 2 blacks out. So 2 blacks put at the replacement. The black, 2 same colors, you put back your black. Then 2 different colors means you put back your white. Okay. In this case, 2 blacks are taken out. White remains the same. Okay. And I'm putting back my black there. So in that case, total number of count is going to be 3. Can you understand? Able to follow this? Next time I'm going to take it out WW. Okay, WW I'm going to take it out. Means what will happen over here? Okay, I'm going to take off two white, means one black is left and one zero white. Again, I'm going to put back one black ball, means so 2 plus 1 becomes 2. So I'm going to have this. And finally, I'm having two black balls. I'm going to take that out, two black out. So after taking out two black, I'll replace it with 1. So that will be B will be equal to 1. The same case, clear? If I'm going to have an odd number, let's check it out. If I'm going to have an odd number, okay, if I'm going to have an odd number, see what is going to happen. Excuse me. Yes. So what is our condition? B plus W is equal to 1. When W is even means I'll be left out with one black ball, black marble. Clear? When W is odd means I'll be left with one white, one black. I've already explained. Now we go with this. B is equal to 2 and W is equal to 3. Assume you're going to have like this. In that case, what happens? Shall we go with the first case? Assume, not necessarily the same way, but I'm trying to explain this. I'm having two blacks. Two blacks means what will happen? My B will be equal to 0 and my W remains as 3. You put back one black, so my B will be equal to 1 and my W will be equal to 3. The total number of balls has been reduced to 4 now. So now what is the next possibility case? You take off two white. You take off two white. In that case, what happens? My B remains the same. My B remains the same, but my W will get reduced to 1. I'm sorry. My W will get reduced to 1 since I'm taking off two white. Clear. Now I'll replace it with one black. Whether it's two black or two white, I'll replace it with 1. So my B will be equal to 2 and my W will be equal to 1. So totally how many balls now? 4. At the first I had 5. Next I had 4. Now I'm having 3. How many balls are there? 2 black and 2 white. Now I'm going to take up 2 blacks. I'm going to take up two blacks. What is my last count? B will be equal to 0 and my W will remain as 1. Okay? And I'll put back 1 there. So my B will be equal to 1 and my W will be equal to 1. Can you understand? Now what is the last left out? One black and one white. So both the balls I'm taking out. I'm taking out both the balls. Clear? When I'm taking out both the balls, what happens? My B will become 0 and my W will also become 0. But I'll put back my white there. So in that case, my B is equal to 0 and my W is equal to 1. So what is the final color of my ball? Is going to be white. When I started with the odd number, I landed with white. When I started with the even number, when I started with the even number, I ended with black. So this is the explanation. Children, please repeatedly see the video so that only you can understand your thing better in a better way. Thank you, children.